Zack Hample has become the most hated fan in all of sports. He has been called arrogant, whiny, and even the worst man in America, even though he's given away tens of thousands of dollars to youth baseball charities. Hample's claim to fame is his ability to catch baseballs at major league stadiums, catching over 12,000 balls over the past 40 years, and doing it in over 50 different stadiums. He has many different methods to make sure that he gets a baseball at each game he attends, and then he posts this on his YouTube channel where he makes vlogs about the games he attends. However, on these videos, there are times where he can come off as cocky and arrogant, and has even rubbed Major League Baseball players the wrong way. Part of the controversy with Hample is the fact that he is very willing to run across the stands into a different row and catch a ball in front of a kid, even if he generally gives them to the kid after catching it for himself. He's caught some of the biggest home run balls in Major League Baseball history, including Mike Trout's first career home run ball and Alex Rodriguez's 3,000th hit. However, he's done some extremely shady things to get baseballs, including illegally attending a veterans-only game in 2016. Hample certainly has his supporters, with over 650,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel, but the haters are just as vocal about the collector. Let's talk about how Zack Hample got his horrible reputation.
Be careful, Butch, it's Zack Hample running! Hide your children! It's Zack Hample!
Now, if you love, hate, or have no opinion on Zack Hample, then subscribe, and since that's every possible option, yeah, just go ahead and press that big red button and subscribe to the channel, because, you know, it's free and you can always change your mind later, but don't. So just do it. Zack Hample's father, Stu Hample, was an extremely successful author, comic writer, and playwright, with his main expertise in writing books for children as an author. Unfortunately, Stu passed away in 2010, but he did leave us with some legendary children's books, such as The Silly Book, which was his first and probably biggest seller throughout his career, and I can't get over that he also wrote a book called I Will Kiss You. Lots and lots and lots. I will kiss you everywhere, on your fingers, on your hair, on a chair, on a stair, on the floor, in the air, and I'll kiss your teddy bear. Okay, I'm sorry, I need to stop, I can't. This is not the point of this baseball video whatsoever, and in all seriousness, this is not a shot at Stu. I just feel like some of the titles of his books are hilarious, and honestly, I mean that in a genuinely sincere way that makes me want to read them. Kind of like Dr. Seuss. Man, am I getting sidetracked. Anyway, Stu made a lot of money, which allowed Zack to explore his biggest passions, which were a mix of baseball and video creation. He decided to combine both of these passions into one thing, where he created a YouTube channel dedicated to documenting himself catching baseballs at major league stadiums. His first YouTube video uploaded to his channel with over 660,000 subscribers was a clip of him at a game show talking about how he averaged 6 balls a game, even back at that time, which was at least 15 years ago.
Zach, have you, now, you say a great deal of these balls are caught like during foul, or actually batting practice, right?
That's right. Okay. I have caught 54 balls during games.
During games as well. And your average is 6 balls a game?
That's right. Can I show you the trick with my glove?
Sure. We want to have a demonstration here of how you use your glove and your secret weapon.
Okay. It starts by putting a rubber band over the tip of the glove, and I hook it outside the flap, and I put a magic marker inside the glove to prop it open. And of course, this trick wouldn't work if I didn't have some string.
Ladies and gentlemen, the ball disappears.
13 years ago, he caught his 5,000th baseball, and since then he's caught over 7,000 more baseballs, making his overall total greater than 12,000 baseballs caught at major league games, which is truly insane. All of these baseballs that he's managed to snag are much of the problems that fans have with Hample, however. Hample can get a little aggressive when going after baseballs, since his job is to make content and most of his content does involve catching baseballs. Hample has been seen running from his seat into neighboring sections to try to catch a ball, jumping in front of children, and sometimes even making some physical contact to make sure that he is the one catching the baseball. Countless articles have been written about the social media star, including one from his hometown press, the New York Post. And the title is not promising for our pal Zack over here. Hated MLB collector Zack Hample whines after having to follow stadium rules. That might be a little harsh, so I'll show you the clip and then let you decide your stance on the issue.
All right, it's a home run ball. I'm gonna go for a home run ball. Come on. Don't be that strict. That's ridiculous.
Well, too bad. We got an area here. You stay in that area.
Telling me I can't move 10 feet for a home run is ridiculous.
You need to stay in your seat.
I have to stay in my seat?
Yes, sir. I'm asking you to stay in your seat.
Well, if everybody else stays in their seat, then I'll stay in my seat.
No, I'm asking you to stay in your seat.
Well, there's a lot of people not in their seats.
I'm talking to you. I'm not talking to them.
So are you guys making special rules just for me?
Yeah, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Here's my suggestion to you. Stay in your seat or leave. You make the choice.
Big L, big, you guys get an F on the fan experience.
I have no words, man. It's just so shocking and disappointing.
Hample was in a section he was not supposed to be in, then did complain when security told him that the section he was not supposed to be in was a section that he was not supposed to be in. Now, don't get me wrong, stadium security can be very egregious at times. Like, they seem like there are times where they will go out of their way to make sure that you are not having a good time at the stadium. But who knows what the repercussions could have been for not following through with the rules in this situation. Unemployment is at an all-time high in the United States, so if this guard was fearful of losing his job for not enforcing rules that he should have been, then it's pretty justified that he's being harsh on the rules, even if it might seem like he's not. On the flip side, Hample wasn't really hurting anyone here. He was just going after a ball, which you are allowed to do at major league stadiums. I'm not saying you should have an opinion either way, those are just the realities of this specific situation. The Post article, however, did not like that Zack Hample was mad at the guard, saying things like this. In the process, however, Hample leaves little regard for those around him. He's been seen attempting to box out children, breaking stadium rules for better positioning/access, and berating other fans. And also, a plethora of media outlets, including the Post, have dubbed him as baseball's most hated fan. Again, it's not a great look. It's also notable that Clayton Kershaw once declined Hample from getting a toss-up and said, "You've got 7,000 of them anyway, it wouldn't mean much to you." Hample then kind of made a joke about it and said, "Yeah, it wouldn't matter to me." But then after the game on Twitter, he decided to double down on this and say something really weird about Kershaw and basically said that his next contract wouldn't matter to him because he has so much money. That's just a wild take, and again, it's part of the reason why people think Hample's arrogant. You just can't say stuff like that. It doesn't make you look good at all. Now, Hample has definitely done some good for the baseball community, and especially youth baseball charities in New York City and all throughout the country. He also does give away many of the balls that he is able to catch at these stadiums. So he kind of takes them from kids and then just gives them back to the kids that would have got them anyway. Hample has managed to catch some of the more historic home runs in Major League history, including Mike Trout's first career home run, which he declined an offer for $500 from another fan for, and eventually just gave the ball back to Trout for a handshake from the star outfielder instead. I just don't see dollar signs when I catch these balls. I just wanted the kid to get his ball back, you know? Now, this wasn't even the most historic home run ball Hample has managed to grab, as his true greatest prize was Alex Rodriguez's 3,000th hit baseball, which happened to go over the wall and into the stands for a homer. Hample, being from New York, most of the time doesn't say that he's a Yankees fan, he just says he's a baseball fan, but He has season tickets at Yankee Stadium and is realistically a Yankees fan. However, it doesn't matter. Hample had made it clear throughout his time on the internet that he was not a supporter of Alex Rodriguez, and although the Yankees made multiple generous offers to the ball hawk, Hample left the stadium with the 3,000 hit ball. Now, interestingly, just 24 hours before he caught A-Rod's 3,000th hit ball, he was asked on Twitter if he would return the ball if he caught it, and he responded, "I'll give him the finger and a dummy ball." That man deserves favors from no one, least of all a fan. He then stuck to his word and said there was nothing that could be offered for him to return the ball to Rodriguez. My attention all along, I've been imagining this scenario as a 1 in a million, was not to give it back. You know, just because the guy who got Jeter's 3,000th hit, a lot of people called him an idiot. A lot of people said that he was a wonderful person and extremely generous. And I really think that. Whatever you want to do with it is your choice. I think that someone like Derek Jeter or Alex Rodriguez, who has made $500 million in their career, doesn't really need a favor from a normal civilian and a fan like me. I don't know right now if I'm going to sell it. I mean, depending on what the Yankees offer, I would consider giving it back. I don't plan to give it back just for a chance to meet him and full autograph bats because I don't collect bats. I collect baseballs. Just having this ball is so meaningful to me, I can't believe that I got it. Whether you think this is right or wrong personally, this is his right, to be fair to Hample. If you catch a baseball, you are entitled to do what you wish with the baseball. Now, the team can try to get it from you, but if you decide to keep it, that is your right for attending that game. Now, a couple of weeks later, Hample was offered something else for the baseball, and that was the turning point in the negotiations. And that was a big time offer from the New York Yankees, which was $150,000 to the Pitch In for Baseball Foundation, which is one of Hample's favorite youth baseball charities. Whether you like Hample or not, you have to admit that this right here at least is honorable. He could have taken all the money for himself, however, all he got for himself was a signed jersey, bat, and photo with A-Rod, while choosing that all the cash goes to a children's baseball charity to help the sport become more inclusive for everyone. Something kind of went off in my head at that point, and I thought, alright, a few hours ago there was no way I was giving it back. When that generous offer was made by Mr. Levine, I thought, alright, now I have to consider that. Really, the thing that stuck out in my mind was how kind the Yankees were, and how generous, and how they treated me. I really was thinking Pitch In for Baseball and how I could use the situation to help them. A-Rod later forgave Hample for all the mean things that Hample had said about A-Rod on Twitter, and there were quite a few of them, which I'm not going to get into A-Rod in this video, but he's had his fair share of controversy as well, so who knows. But whether you like Hample or not, you have to admit that this right here is honorable. Now, while you still may dislike Hample, even if you agree that this is a good thing, the next story is something that has to be the complete opposite. Even if you're the biggest Hample supporter, you have to admit that he went too far here. Back in 2016, Major League Baseball played a game at Fort Bragg, which was an active military base in North Carolina. The game was intended to be attended by only military personnel, and instead of explaining with my own words, let's read what Hample said instead. Dear Twitter, I have nothing but the utmost respect for military service members and their family. That said, I am truly sorry and feel terrible about my lapse in judgment for attending the Fort Bragg baseball game. Since so many people are upset and wondering how it happened, I want to explain how it all went down. When the game was first announced, I was super excited about attending. I had been to more than 1,000 games at dozens of MLB stadiums, including the opening series in Australia in 2014, the opening series in Japan in 2012, and many other unusual locations. That's how much baseball means to me. With so many regular civilians buzzing about what it would take take to get into the game at Fort Bragg, I figured I needed to offer lots of money to stand out and look for tickets in all sorts of places. One thing I did was create a platonic Tinder bio devoted to getting into the game. I matched with a bunch of folks who offered to help, but none of them could actually do anything for me because tickets did not end up being issued until the last minute. No one seemed to know for sure whether they were getting tickets or not. I gave up on Tinder and posted a video on YouTube in which I asked for help getting into the game. By this point, I had heard that soldiers were not supposed to sell their tickets, so I didn't offer any money. I wondered if someone might have an extra ticket and felt like hooking me up, and ultimately, that's what worked. With 3 days to spare, I heard from a friend of a friend whose entire unit got tickets without even entering the lottery. He received a pair and invited his girlfriend to the game, but she declined because, as he put it, she hates baseball. He couldn't think of anyone else to invite, so when he heard about me, he thought it would be fun to hang out at the game and decided to make it happen. On the day of the game, he drove us on to Post by simply showing his military ID along with my driver's license. No questions asked. That was the last time either of us were asked for IDs. I didn't think I was doing anything wrong because the entire process had been so easy. I had heard that soldiers were allowed to bring guests to the game, and this guy chose me as his guest. He was never asked to sign for his tickets, nor was he told what he could or couldn't do with them. The last thing I wanted to do was deprive a soldier of the chance to attend this game. I am deeply sorry for my idiotic behavior. I was oblivious to the potential issues and recognize now that I made a terrible mistake. Although I don't believe I did anything illegal, I clearly violated the spirit of the game. Now, this was an apology for attending a game which may or may not have been illegal. He claims that no money exchanged hands, which would make this interaction not illegal, probably, but the morality behind it was obviously questionable at best. Major League Baseball fans as a whole were also extremely upset with this behavior from Hample, with tweets reading things such as, "Delete your account," "You are a psychopath, seriously," "Always liked you and always defended you, but this is despicable. You're literally stealing from armed service members and their families," and lastly, "MLB should ban you. Period." Obviously, people definitely disagreed with Hample's antics here. But these are just some of the many negative responses to his actions and apology on the matter. This is, in my opinion, easily the worst thing he's done for baseballs. However, this was not the only thing he's done to piss other fans of MLB off. He's caught over 90 baseballs in live MLB games and has jumped in front of children to catch many of these balls. This has given him not only a horrible reputation with fans of MLB, but also some of the players, including Clayton Kershaw, who I mentioned earlier, and Marcus Stroman, who happened to call Zack Hample a clown for his actions. However, is all of this really that bad, or is this someone just trying to maximize their craft? Let me know in the comments, and if you want to see someone else maximize their abilities at their craft, click the video on the screen right now to learn about how the worst player in baseball became an all-star in just 2 seasons.